Greetings from Los Angeles and welcome to the WCS Global Finals here at BlizzCon 2013. We're Tastosis.
That's who we are. Who are you? You're a StarCraft fan.
You're a nerd.
And if you're not, you're going to be after this series because this is a good one, man. aLive versus Polt. Old school Terrans. They used to be on the same team. Gonna be nice.
This is this has so far been an incredible tournament. And here's where we're at now. We know for sure Sulky's going to be going up against Bomber. SOS could be going up against aLive or Polt, which we're going to know about that in a little bit here, by the way.
Yeah.
Deer tore through Taeja, which is really exciting. We don't know about MVP Jaedong just yet.
Yeah, that's going on at the same time on the other stream if you want to check that out.
Yeah.
And the big upset so far of the tournament, Innovation versus Duck Duck. Duck taking that down.
That was a shocker.
Yeah, you don't really expect that because Innovation is just so good mechanically, but Duck, a very tricky player, very strong player.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, it's such a treat to be down here casting at BlizzCon again. This is actually where you started.
This was my first cast in front of an audience, is what it was. Like before I had casted.
You did like stuff online and stuff like that?
Yeah, but this was the first one where I was in front of an audience.
We did that together.
Of course we did. Well, how else would I start my career, Tasteless?
It's wild. This is like my seventh or eighth Blizzard event, if you count WWIs and then BlizzCon, and they just keep getting better and better. It is bigger than it's ever been. So many people. It's really exciting to see all these new games getting released. We got an interesting matchup though here for this tournament. Tell us a little bit about it, Artosis.
Well, it's Polt versus aLive, as previously mentioned. These two used to both be on TSL, a really great team back in the day. And, of course, they've both gone their separate ways. aLive nowadays with the Evil Geniuses, very strong player in WCS America at the moment. Whereas Polt, he's also in WCS America, but he's with CM Storm now. He's kind of a player all by himself. And he's also a full-time student.
He's lone wolfing it a little bit here. Yeah. Polt actually went to. Is he still at Seoul University?
No, he's actually at a university in Texas right now.
Oh, okay.
And,
so he wasn't basically the Harvard of Korea.
That's right.
And he's at Texas, you know?
I don't remember exactly which university it is, but
no, I mean this is a guy who's a full-time student.
Yeah, and
while being one of the scariest
full-time
players.
student, and this guy is the WCS North America champion twice.
It's
recall
pretty incredible.
It's amazing. And Polt is such a strong player, a previous GSL champion as well.
Yeah, I got to say, I would say Polt is the favorite here, but we've already seen Innovation lose, so we know for sure that upsets can occur. We're just making sure our players are both set up and comfy. Again, there is no losers bracket in this tournament.
That's right. You lose here, you're out. And these guys have been waiting all day to play their first match. They're almost ready, just getting a few little things squared away, making sure the sound is right, making sure, of course, you have to have your headset on the right way, or you'll be hearing sounds from the left on the right and sounds from the right on the left.
That could be bad.
Oh, that would be crazy. Like, oh, am I under attack over there? Nope, you're not.
Not so much. This is our first time now. We're here on the Esports Plus stream.
Yeah, we haven't done this one
This is
yet.
actually how we normally cast.
Yeah, this is a little bit more comfortable, in fact.
We always have to kind of mentally prepare ourselves to actually speak in front of live audiences. But
well, luckily this year, unlike all the others, this is my 5th BlizzCon. All the other ones, we were on the stage looking at the crowd. This one, we have our backs to the crowd.
We got our backs to them, that's right.
I don't trust that crowd, man. I don't know.
So, looks like we have aLive situated. We're very close to getting this match started here. Artosis, your predictions going into this?
I have to side with Polt here. I think it's going to be really close. I think probably 3-2 for Polt, but if aLive took it, it wouldn't shock me. He's really, really strong, and at least at the WCS Season 2 finals, he was a badass, man. He was a killer. He was taking out everybody. He played so well, and he was a last-minute replacement there. So, aLive, a player you can never actually count out.
Really cool to see these guys who are both buddies from back in the day.
Yeah.
Teammates now here in completely different paths of life. I mean, you got Polt, who's currently relocated to the States.
Yes.
As a student. You got aLive, who's on a completely different team. But they're both legends.
These guys are big time, man. Yeah, they've been around forever, and they're not going anywhere soon. Anytime soon, rather.
So, I'm leaning on Polt for this one. I just think I think he's probably got it, but you never know what to expect. Again, players still just getting situated here.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be back in the States, by the way, Artosis.
You know what? We haven't been to the States in over a year. The last time we were in the States was for that IPL, that last IPL that was in Vegas.
The one where our GSL finals were held at. That's
that was
right. Yeah.
The last time. Well, actually, you went to the States real quickly once.
Oh,
but that was not really.
That didn't count. That was just for sadness. But
yes. This is for happiness, though, Tasteless.
This is a much better reason to be down here.
We're here at BlizzCon, which is a fantastic event. The fans are so excited. They're so kind. I'm having a great time so far.
Let's take a look at Polt, a closer look at Polt, and see what his thoughts are now that he's in the WCS Global Finals.
Hello, my name is Choi Sung-hoon. My nickname is Polt. I'm playing for CM Storm, and my race is Terran. This is my first BlizzCon in my whole life. I'm so very excited for playing on the stage with that many crowd. I don't know anyone in BlizzCon among 16 players. I think I am the only one who is playing games and at the same time doing another thing. I'm doing studying, but other 15 players are just playing games. My opponent was decided just 3 or 4 days ago in WCS America Challenger League, and my opponent is aLive, and I am happy for that actually. I prefer aLive as my first opponent because I don't like to play MVP. aLive is a much easier opponent. The reason you should cheer for me is in 16 players playing BlizzCon, I am the only one who is living in the US right now.
I love that. Talk about fantastic.
Yeah, Polt is
English.
awesome. Always a fan favorite. He is the American player here.
He is the American dream right here. Really, really exciting. And, it's good to see he's really confident going into this. This is just awesome. Well, let's take a closer look at aLive and see where he stands coming into this tournament here today.
안녕하세요. 이름은 한이석이고요. 아이디는 aLive라는 아이디를 쓰고 있고 지금 소속된 팀은 이블 지니어스고요. 종족은 테란입니다.
aLive is going to win this game. This is unreal. Oh my god, he even lands the Vikings. Every little bit of damage counts here for aLive in game number 2 as he marches on through.
저는 좀 뜻깊다 생각하고요. 일단 팬분들이 커뮤니티에서 말하듯이 저도 그렇게 생각하고 있는데 대회라는 것은 모르기 때문에 일단 자신감이 없는 건 아니고요. 항상 자신감을 가지고 대회에 임하기 때문에.
Because if he wins that fight, he will be able to completely annihilate it. GG.
표까지는 안 잡았고요. 일단 8강까지만 가자. 일단 한 선수라도 없애자 이런 생각으로 임할 텐데 그걸 계속 없애다 보면은 제가 우승까지 차지하지 않을까 생각하고 있습니다.
The moment we have high expectations of aLive, he often disappoints. If he just goes in there, plays his series, plays his best, and in TVT, I definitely think that aLive can defeat Polt.
누가 이번 대회 우승을 하건 앞으로도 많이 스타크래프트2 사랑해 주셨으면 좋겠고요. 그렇게 사랑해 주시면 아마 선수들도 그거에 맞게 보답해 주실 거예요. 그래서 더 많이 사랑해 주시고 많이 시청해 주시고요. 감사합니다.
Doesn't seem too confident, but still, you know what? He believes in himself. He knows he's a strong player, and TVT very doable for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a good point that Rotterdam makes. Sometimes you don't know what to expect from him. You'll put your expectations down, but he can surprise you at any time. Now we are entering into the map elimination phase. And it looks like Polt goes ahead and gets rid of Whirlwind, one of our older maps.
You know, and it's also one of our bigger maps, so I'm not too surprised to see that. Polt is not a player that likes to play on too big a map. He wants to be able to run around very quickly and counterattack.
When we first saw Polt become a champion, he won with a lot of finesse.
Yes.
Something you definitely got to keep in mind.
His control is really second to none, Tasteless. So maybe he's trying to get rid of some of these macro-oriented maps.
Could be. Now, Polar Knight was eliminated here by aLive, so we're going to enter into the next phase, which is going to be the order of the maps, and Yonsu is selected first.
All right, open up with Yansu. That's a fine opening choice here. Of course, it is a mirror matchup, so it's kind of more of a stylistic thing for the players. For instance, getting rid of Polar Knight against Polt, very smart because he's very good at multitasking and harassment. So looks like Polt going to choose Frost as the second map.
Now we go back over to aLive, who immediately is going to respond with Belcher Vestige.
Okay, and that's going to be a much smaller map. I feel like, you know, if we get to really small maps, that might favor aLive just a little bit more than Polt.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Derelict Watcher is the next pick, and that leaves our final map to be Akalon Wastes. Our players are now going to put on their soundproof headsets and get into the game, and we should be starting this very shortly.
Yeah, they're just got to host the map, get us all in there, and we can get going. This is a pretty exciting match here, Tasteless. We see Polt, ridiculous win percentages in WCS so far. Look at that, 67, 71, 71.
Well, Polt is superhuman because,
yeah.
You know, if anybody asks me, what is it like, you know, to be a pro gamer? I say, well, all you do is game nonstop. That's it. You can't get a normal job like 9 to 5. You can't go to school. But Polt is here, high ranked,
proving us wrong,
Tasteless, and proving us wrong, and living abroad as well. I mean, it's really an inspiration. It reminds me of, you know, Nesty when everybody was saying only a young player can be good, and he's saying, well, apparently not.
Yeah. Polt, you know, even though he has a lot of experience, you know, having won a GSL years ago and now a two-time WCS champion, but aLive has been around just as long. He's been a top-end player that has had a lot expected from him. He's done well overall, but he only has one big championship thus far, that one IPL.
That is very true. You know, with aLive going into this, it was interesting to see him say that he's not totally confident going into this. He's like, I'll be happy if I get to the round of 8. He also said he knows that the fans don't expect him to win, and he's fine with that.
Yeah.
Now maybe he's just underplaying it.
Perhaps.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what to expect here, but we'll see. But I do love that part of the end where he says, please, everyone, keep loving StarCraft 2 and keep supporting it.
Well, as they should, because it's the best game ever.
It is the best game ever. On to our in-game down here in the bottom left. Our deadly, highly educated Renaissance man, Terran. He is Polt. In the upper right, the underdog here, but he's always packed with surprises. He is aLive.
All right. So here we are, Tasteless, on Yansu. Of course, we have our wonderful in-game spectator in Feza catching all the action for us.
Yes. It's so great now. We've been doing BlizzCons for so long that we finally have full-time observers.
Yes, it makes it so much better.
When I was first doing these events, I was casting and observing.
It was rough.
It was rough, man.
Your brain can't go in that many directions.
Yeah. So, going into this game now, we have Polt going for a gas first. aLive not taking his gas just yet. He's going to go for the barracks instead.
All right, so gas first here from Polt. Now, what is he going to open with that? Is he just going to go straight into Banshees? I think that's a pretty reasonable guess.
Yeah, I think it's a safe bet, actually.
Yeah. But aLive actually grabbing a 12 gas as well. So, you know, he's getting quite the quick gas here. Probably going to open up with a Reaper, if I had to guess.
You know, for score, I really do wonder if it's just going to be a 3-1 here for Polt.
You think 3-1?
I have a really strong feeling about that. Polt's so good. I know aLive can take a game off him, though. Right?
But, yeah, that's true. But it doesn't Polt have more pressure on him? Because he is like the two-time WCS NA champ. He's a higher caliber player than most in this tournament. So
you know what? That's true, but I don't feel like he's going to crack under the pressure because Polt doesn't strike me as a nervous or timid guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw in that interview, which, by the way, he did completely in English.
Mm-hmm.
He made several points. He said, you know, I'm very good. I think I'm going to get very far in this tournament. By the way, you should support me because I actually get ready for it, live in America.
Yep. Yeah,
you know?
The only one. You know, it's a good point. And another thing to point out, Tasteless, is that this is in the backstage. This is like a little curtained-off area. It's very comfortable back here. There's not a lot of pressure. There's some lights, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, they can't hear anything. There's not a big crowd cheering for them right now. Sure, there's a lot of people watching at home.
This might as well be a
but
ladder match.
yeah, something like that, right? It's just a much more comfortable place. So I feel like we're going to see the absolute best games out of both players.
Yeah.
Whoever wins this truly does deserve that round of 8.
And, I mean, when you get to the round of 8, you're just that much closer to being the champion. So this is, by the way, just to make sure you guys know, a best of 5. Everything here is a best of 5 to get to the finals, which is a best of 7. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they play this out. We got the Reaper coming in here now for aLive, coming down, and just gonna do a little bit of harass here.
Well, this is a really good scout already with the Reaper, although it hasn't done any real damage.
Yeah, no true damage done here.
Yeah, he sees a Banshee opening, and I do suspect that he clicked on the gas and figured out that this is, in fact, going to be Cloaked Banshee, at least most likely.
Cloaked Banshee is still popular to this day. But yeah, aLive not doing any more additional damage beyond that. And here we have Polt now connecting the starport over here onto the tech lab.
Now, the onus is going to be on Polt to get some damage done because it's a much quicker command center for aLive. So if Polt can get in there, get some damage done, he's going to be fine. But if aLive deflects the Banshee just perfectly, then Polt's going to be a little bit behind because he hasn't even started his command center yet.
This is very true. And that's really, it's going to be pivotal here for how this actually pans out. Because, if the damage is not done, then he's just going to be in such a deficit. Cloak getting close to about halfway done. And we have some Widow Mines coming up here as well.
Well, he tries to get in there once again. At least he sees that the Cloak upgrade is on the way. Of course, that does get canceled a decent amount of the time when it gets scouted, but I don't think Polt will do that this time. When he's on one base, he really needs to stretch the economy of aLive as much as possible, and a lot of that is forcing scans.
Absolutely. When you're scanning, you don't have mules. Now here comes that Banshee now.
Well, the Banshee going to fly across the middle of the map here, the quickest way, but there is a Widow Mine out. Will he fly over it? You have to kind of guess where the Banshee's going to go.
Yeah, and now these guys do know each other very well. Oh, this could be so huge.
Oh my God.
It is barely out of range. It
like
is so barely out of range. But you know what? aLive could still chase this Banshee into where the Widow Mine is at.
That could happen, you're right. But so far, so good for Polt. He's staying out of range of those Marines so that even if a scan comes, he can get away. And in fact, will he go over this?
Oh my God!
Oh.
I can't believe it.
No
it was
detection,
so close.
man.
Yeah.
If he had another scan, I guess
bad.
he could have. But
I was sure he was going to have another scan and just get that right there, but apparently not. So the Widow Mine remains there. The Banshee continuing to be driven out now.
Well, this Banshee, 6 kills already, 7 kills, and in fact...
His bunker not even finishing, in fact.
He's going to get hit by the Widow Mine now because it will decloak.
Yep.
And down it goes, but that was a very effective Banshee. Look at the supply, 51 to 44 in favor of Polt, and this is very early game in a mirror matchup, so that means a lot.
That command center is going to finish up. The second Banshee now comes in here. It doesn't look like this Banshee is going to be that impactful in this game. And it is also going to go by a Widow Mine, but not going to get scanned here, so it continues to move on.
Yeah, it looks like that Widow Mine's still recharging a little bit.
Oh,
I like how he moved its
Good call there, yeah.
I like how he moved its location as well, just to kind of mix it up. Because right now, Polt has to think, oh, there's a Widow Mine over there. Well, there's not. It's in a new spot.
And the Viking now going to come out. It looks like this Banshee, again, going to be intercepted here.
Well, does cloak, and he will get past here. But he's already taken some pretty significant damage on it. The other Banshee going up the other side.
I'm really curious if this Widow Mine is actually going to just wipe out this army of Polts here right now. This could be bad.
Ooh, does some pretty significant damage to the front of those Marines.
Yeah, a lot of bruised Marines there. And he's scanning. He really wants to get in here and try to force a lift, maybe put the siege tanks in the low ground to do some damage. The Vikings now driving Polt out. I gotta say, aLive is looking not bad at all right now.
His defense is really quite nice. The first Banshee did a lot of damage, but since then, Polt's Banshees have been somewhat impotent. So, aLive has held on. His expansion's been up for a while longer, and the game is starting to stabilize a little bit as Polt takes his expansion.
Now, Polt, that was a smart move by him back there. He just turned around. He said, okay, I'm not going to do any more damage. I need to just go back and play it safe.
Yeah. Well, it is the right choice. When you have siege tanks on the high ground, you're probably not going to break them unless you have a lot more siege tanks to shoot up onto that high ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the way this map is shaped, there's not a lot of opportunities for your siege tanks in low ground to get in there and do damage unless you have a really sick lead.
That's a very good point. This is definitely a map that can go for a pretty long time in TVT.
Absolutely. So the barracks here are going to finish now for aLive. Polt is in a slight supply lead here at 87 to 70. And we have that +1 range attack about halfway done. Polt, though, you know, he's always been comfortable playing like this style.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, all the way back in Wings of Liberty, he was playing like this and doing it very comfortably. He just has transitioned it very easily here into Heart of the Swarm.
Well, we have aLive trying to get some harassment done, and that's about as much as we're going to see out of him because he did get a very fast third command center, which it means he's neglected his gases at his natural. He's neglected building the extra barracks very quickly. But his economy is going to be a little bit better, which is nice, but it's going to take him a while to get into a spot where he can actually be the aggressor on the map, and you see that reflected in the supplies. Polt right now up by almost 20.
Yeah. Polt also could comfortably move around on the map. I wonder how much he's going to be scanning ahead of himself. It looks like he has that one Marine to go out there to maybe bait out Widow Mines, but no, that Marine now regroups. Okay, there he is again, now moving out. And the Banshee coming out here as well. Now, with some of the army here of aLive outside of his base, Polt could get in here and do a lot of damage. Not all of these siege tanks in siege mode as well.
Well, looks like he is moving.
God.
That's a big catch. 10 supply killed in a matter of seconds there, catching that medevac. And Polt is maneuvering very well right now. It's going to be hard for aLive to hold on to everywhere when he's down so much supply.
All right, Polt now continuing to just maneuver around the map. He's not doing anything that's so bold that he could get himself behind. He's playing very safe. He's a very conservative player in this sense of the game, even though he does like a lot of those attacks early on. Note that a command center here for aLive does get picked up as he realizes Polt's map presence is just too much. And from here we have what we would call a soft contain.
He's
it's a contain where you can just pack your bags and move and then reshape that contain again, whereas a hard contain would have more structures there, turrets, bunkers, etc.
You know, it's like when you're a little kid and your mom tells you to stay in your room and she stays in the house. Like if she goes out and goes to work or something, you just leave your room and
that's
she never
a soft
knows.
contain.
That's
you
a
know?
soft.
Yeah, but if you're grounded and she's downstairs
that can,
in the house, that's a hard contain.
It's tough, man.
It's tough.
And that's what we're seeing here. This is a difficult position for aLive, especially with siege tanks, because they give such a defender's advantage in siege mode.
Now we have a small drop coming up here, and this is going to hit right when the third base is getting started up. So if Polt doesn't become privy to this pretty soon, it could be bad news. Stimming now, a lot of SCVs are going to be picked off here.
Really well done here with this drop, killing quite a few SCVs indeed. And it does get to boost as well. So he'll get out of here with 7 of the 8 Marines. That's a very effective drop.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something going in aLive's direction. We have supplies dead even right now, but aLive cannot take another base, which is a big problem here.
Well, he's going to have to come out and take another base very, very soon. Looks like he's starting to send a few Marines out to try to figure out where are my opponent's siege tanks? Where is Polt set up, and how do I get around him?
All right, the siege tanks are now all not in siege mode here for aLive, as he is going to try to get that third, probably the easiest third that he could possibly try to get from this position. Oh my God, if he gets a stim off here and if he gets up,
oh my God.
Wow.
Well, looks like he does save those for now, but another drop coming down here from aLive, and he will get out again. Kills a little bit and gets away, not even losing a Marine this time, but taking a little bit of damage on his medevac.
Yeah. And the siege tanks are all in good position here for aLive. He does have that third up and running, but Polt is still now moving around the map. Looks like he may try to come around here. Going through the center, perhaps?
Polt has actually kind of gone up 2 directions.
Okay, the second medevac did get away. It has like no HP, it has
wow.
6 HP. Wow, okay, I was really worried that might have been gunned down there for aLive's sake, you know.
Well, that would have hurt a lot to lose that right now. They're very close in supply, and aLive is forcing his way out. He's taking his third base, but Polt's still maneuvering around. You know, there's a lot of surface area that aLive is supposed to defend here.
All right, he's hitting this refinery, which is actually quite annoying because the TVT gas is so important. That's where you're going to be getting all your siege tanks. Now we have a 3 medevac drop coming over here, sneaking out from the right side. And at the same time, the third is getting forced to relocate. One Marine, though, does spot the 3 medevac drop.
Oh, and that one Marine may have saved Polt, Tasteless. A lot of units being pulled back. This 3 medevac drop could have potentially done huge damage that would have made the game go in aLive's favor, but Polt is ready.
Yeah, he is everywhere. He might even try to get a medevac snipe here, but the medevacs do get away. But will they be intercepted on that way back home?
Well, I certainly hope not for aLive's sake. He's having such a hard time getting this game really going in his favor.
I'm really surprised Polt didn't get Stim Marines over in that spot.
He must have been looking at something else, because that would have been a catch that just wins you the game.
Yeah, absolutely. A scan over here. aLive now seeing that Polt has a very sizable army in a really good position, so he opts to instead go around it.
Well, aLive is going around, and in fact, where is he headed to? Down towards the third base, it looks like. Now, if he can siege up at the bottom of one of these ramps, he can really use the funnels to his advantage.
Yep, now he's going to stim up and engage over here. And not a good position there for all of Polt's Marines, but, oh, excuse me, as I say that, I see some now come down here from the top. And that's going to wipe out the rest of these siege tanks easily.
It does indeed, but aLive, in the meantime, has another set of Marines up here, dealing a lot of damage in the natural. Thing is, with all these siege tanks coming back, of course, these will be taken out.
Nice, taking out that medevac that did have additional Marines in it. Polt making a lot more command centers. You know, aLive is playing well, but Polt is always 1 to 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking the same exact thing, especially when you had the Marine on the side to spot the 3 medevac drop. Like, Polt is crossing every T, dotting every I. He's everywhere. He knows what's going on, and he's holding on, even though aLive is making very strong moves.
All right, it looks like he's going to have another failed drop over here. You know, the SCVs are not still building those command centers, but he does take that one out. Oh, excuse me, he does actually force that to live.
And in fact, he might possibly kill. No, it looks like Polt going to stim and spread here.
That's going to keep Polt in a lead here, but aLive is coming around from another angle. Again, Polt can't stamp all these out at once right now.
So it looks like aLive will set up those siege tanks to slow Polt down so he can hit this third base. And suddenly, look at this, aLive really fighting back, Tasteless. He's going to kill a lot of SCVs off here.
aLive may turn this game on its head right now.
He may indeed. He's just playing fantastically. He kills another command center. Looks like he'll drop into the natural, but he does want to save these medevacs and Marines. I don't know if he's going to, though.
All right, he's chasing down the remainder of that force over there. aLive dropping in so many locations. We have another force from aLive coming here from the top, which could stim and take out this command center, which would suddenly, oddly enough, actually knock Polt on 2 bases. What?
Well, it looks like he has done that, Tasteless. But
are you kidding me? But, you know, Polt does have the superior army right now. He could continue to push forward and just crush through whatever else aLive still has.
Well, it's 14 medevacs to 3 with Polt in the lead, and it's 8 siege tanks to 1 with Polt in the lead. The Marine count almost the same, around 50. So this is actually still Polt's game. All he needs to do is a very strong push.
All right, he's continuing to go further and further forward. Yeah, and if this push is kind of the push of doom right now, so many Marines here from Polt, and the siege tank's in a good spot as well. Wiping out some of those SCVs. He's probably going to go for the command center here. And I don't know if he's going to get the command center or not.
Looks like he did.
He did get the command center.
Well, that's...
Whoa, this is a high-pressure game.
Yeah, you know...
By the way, so many very low HP medevacs here. Oh, excuse me, not low HP medevacs.
Well, those ones are aLive's, but, you know... I have to say, Tasteless, this is really rough for aLive. He's down by 7 siege tanks. He has half as many medevacs. I don't know how you actually end up killing Polt's army. It's just so superior.
Yeah, he is, it's weird because aLive even the playing field, and then Polt came right back and got map control. And it's like we're back to where we were 10 minutes ago.
That's true.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, yeah. These two, they are just being absolutely brutal to each other.
This is actually a great match, man.
It is. These two match up extremely well. But I think it's starting to come to an end. You know, aLive is barely mining right now. Polt continues to push forward. His army remains completely superior, and they have about the same amount of SCVs.
All right, we had another drop over here, but it looks like it can be cleaned up with ease here from Polt. So Polt is still going to be on his third. aLive has just now secured a third, but I don't know if it's fully operational right now. It doesn't have its gases taken just yet. More siege tanks sieging up, making traffic through this high ground area much more difficult.
Yeah, this is, look at that. It's such smart usage of siege tanks on this map. It's such thin little hallways that he can siege up and really punish aLive for being behind on. But aLive is coming out with 3 medevacs once again. The thing is, Polt has that watchtower and he sees it coming again.
Yeah, and if he gets a good interception here, that might end the game there for aLive. I mean, that's going to be really tough to come back from. But no, aLive, very smart, turns around. Now, Polt is in a good position, but you got to note that there is a 50 supply lead here for Polt too. It's not just positioning.
Yeah.
It's not just about, oh, they're on even bases now. It's the fact that Polt has a lot more wiggle room.
He has all sorts of wiggle room tastes. Like, this army is just very difficult to kill. He's up by 30 Marines. He still has twice the medevac count. A little bit of a tank lead still, but not like what he once had. But that, of course, is because he's fighting uphill. Look at this. It's stem up.
He may get him totally out maneuvered here because he's going to drop, or actually just run in over here and wipe out this third. And he's going to get the CC. Beautiful play by Polt.
Well, what do you do from here as aLive? I'm saying it tasteless. aLive at this point is dead. Polt has just eventually outmaneuvered him. He had a stronger start to the game. The mid game was really close from these two. But in this late game, Polt just rolled through.
Polt, he's got a really unique way of playing TVT. He's very okay with these big engagements. And, as good as aLive is at keeping up, he doesn't seem to ever win the race,
Yeah. It was a tough one for him. But Polt, he is the favorite. He has outplayed him this game. And at this point, aLive is just going to see what he can do with his remaining army, but I don't expect it to be too much.
Yeah, I mean, again, another 50 supply lead here for Polt. And this should be GG here after this battle. Losing those siege tanks just too much. Well played. With Polt now ahead with a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, that's how it goes, Tasteless. A really nice opening by Polt. That first Banshee doing a fantastic job. And after that, just kind of outmaneuvering aLive. He was always on the offensive. He was always one containing, not being contained. And aLive just couldn't get any drops off without Polt knowing about it.
It was I gotta say, a really nice TVT to cast. I almost like that better than the any of the Bomber MMA TVTs.
Yeah, well,
we saw it was really close. It was a lot of fun. But the thing about Polt again, okay. Tell me if I make sense when I say this. Polt's openers are not uncommon by any measure. But the way he controls the game with that opener is uncommon.
Yes.
By
any measure as well.
Yeah, he's just...
his micros control, his execution, they're all top of the world.
Yeah.
He's very difficult to stop in those areas. And, as long as he opens with something that's pretty solid, it gives him a good chance to win against anybody.
Yeah, it's something else. I mean, I'm really wondering how far Polt's going to go because I wasn't super excited about Polt compared to some of these other players here in this tournament. But we'll see. Speaking of which, down here in the bottom left, we have, living in Texas now, Polt. In the upper right, self-proclaimed underdog, he is aLive.
That is, I like that, self-proclaimed underdog. And you know what? I think everyone's proclaimed him as that. He's proclaimed himself as that. It's kind of accurate. He is down a game, but in that game, Tasteless, aLive showed the skills that he can beat Polt, even though he didn't.
Yeah, it's very true. He can really hold his own. Well, on this map, this is a very, very big map. It's one of the newer, not super new, but newer maps here in StarCraft 2. For TVT in a position game, this map can be a lot of fun, especially Marine Siege Tank versus Marine Siege Tank.
Oh God, yeah, it's
There's
so
a lot
big.
of ways it can go. You can control a lot of the other sides of the ridges with the Siege Tank, similar to what we saw in Game 1, but even more so on this map here in Game 2.
The maneuverability here it's crazy. There's just so much surface area that you have to try to defend against drops, against Siege Tank maneuvering and all that. you know, I'm thinking about it, and I would actually love to see these two play on Polar Night. Just the way that map is shaped, how you can get behind the natural, how the main has 360 degrees where it can be dropped. I feel like these two would give a fantastic game there.
So hopefully we do have a game similar to what we saw there in game number 1. I really, Polt looks strong. These guys are neck and neck, but Polt just seems to have that ability to make the right sacrifices when it comes to map control and army control. I mean, when you look at what aLive did in game number 1, because I'm really into that last game. That last game was really fun, really cool. aLive managed to stamp out all of the expansion leads that Polt had, but at what cost? aLive just didn't have an army by the end of it. But it was a nice maneuvering by aLive. But yeah, Polt is just able to then, after all the sacrifices are made by both parties, you add up who has more still in the end. It's always Polt.
That's right, yeah. The technical term for it is he has a little bit more oomph.
Oh,
he has a little bit more.
Is that the technical term, Dan?
It's that, or he has a little bit more swagger to his step. Those are the two ways to technically describe this.
The way I technically describe it is you know, always he's a little bit more YOLO swag when you kind of boil it down.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you see, you're getting it.
Okay.
You're understanding.
I'm speaking your language now.
Yes, my language. Well, in this game, Polt has opened with a command center first, so you know it is a gigantic 4-player map, and oftentimes when you choose a build like that, it's not going to get punished. But aLive, this is kind of like a nod towards the fact that people will do things like command center first. He's gone for very fast gas. Looks like he's going to be going Banshees. In fact, we might even see him go for one base all in here. That's a possibility.
That would not shock me at all, and that might give Polt a run for his money, you know?
Yeah, that can be very hard to stop.
The build that he's doing is certainly one where you could lose to that.
Yeah, you know what? You're making a ton of Marines with a build like this. In fact, those Marines just got the SCV before it saw the command center.
Wow.
That's a little bit painful.
Nope.
Oh, no, he did see it.
See it.
Thank God. If he hadn't seen that, then that could have changed everything in this game. But as is, if his Banshees do enough damage, if he can pick off enough Marines, then a follow-up attack of Marines and either Hellions or Siege Tanks could be something to end up killing him.
But, you know, you also got to note that attacks like this can always operate as a double-edged sword.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, hey, you drive that Banshee into the wrong part of the map and lose it.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Let's go to game 3 now.
You look away for 1 second, flies into a turret.
Well,
sorry,
even
man.
if you don't micro it perfectly,
yeah.
you know?
The Marines can kill a Banshee. It's just, you know, when you're watching someone like Polt use a Banshee, it's just not that often.
Yeah, very true. Okay,
well, that's a good scan
here, and that pretty much tells him everything he'll need to know.
Cloak on the way, and he is building some missile turrets, so that's really going to help him out, especially in his economy, but he might want to make some that aren't just in the middle line. Like, yeah, that's a perfect turret right now, because he needs to keep his Marines alive as well as his SCVs alive.
And it's all about having enough for when the next possible all-in. No, excuse me, it's not going to be an all-in here from aLive. Yeah. We just now saw that CC made. Yeah, I mean, then he'll be fine. Polt should be able to have a lead as long as he doesn't allow aLive to really do that much damage. And judging from the turret placement and the way his army is placed, he should be fine.
Well, aLive is going to see what type of damage he can actually get done here. It looks like he's going to go after this depot and probably just get the kill for free. Oh, I love that the mine being put down there, but pulsing out the SCV doesn't do anything. That's too bad. That has like a lot of potential, bringing a mine up that early.
Yeah, it really does.
He tries to do something clever like bring Marines out.
I like the conservative response here from aLive to just shave off these guaranteed depots. Mm-hmm. It's just so smart.
And behind it, he's going double command center. So he's saying, you know what, I'll take a little bit more of a risk by grabbing 2 command centers as a catch-up tactic while making sure these Banshees are alive, make you spend as much as possible on defending against them.
I'd say this is probably the best possible response here from aLive, is to just try to play catch-up now. He's got Widow Mines, he's got Banshees, he's got map control. Get that third base. Make Polt at the bare minimum scan to find out what's going on.
He even gets a reactor, and that uses up a lot of Marine making time. And of course, it's like killing a barracks as well. So Polt is not even going to have as many units as he was planning on. This is all very unfortunate for Polt.
All right, it looks like the Banshee now getting driven back here. And I believe one more. Ah!
Whoa.
Whoa.
That Banshee almost got lazy and then realized it could, in fact, live.
Yeah. It was like, oh, I'll just
He's
quit.
like, oh, I'm going to die. And then it was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Life has so much more to give.
Well, we'll see about that. He's pretty low in health. See how much more it has to give. Well, this one gets right out. And in fact, do you know what? I think he thought that was the other Banshee.
Yeah,
so he's
that
like, well, I'll
is
use a
exactly what he
scan
thought.
and kill it in one shot. Nope.
No, not so much. Really nicely done back there. Though, that's so funny. He's probably looking at it, he's like, I swear to God, that thing was so red when it left my base.
It's like, what did you do? Drop mules to repair it? How was that so fast? But, well, it's a second Banshee. And together with 9 kills and the fact that, you know what, he has 3 command centers at this point, way ahead of Polt's third. He's already transferred his SCVs down to the natural. aLive is doing a great job of playing that catch-up like you were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the barracks explosion is now happening here for aLive. He's going to be up to 5 racks pretty soon with a really healthy production. He didn't go out and take the third right away when that command center finished. He actually stayed back aLive. I like it. He's playing very, very well. These guys play similar to each other, probably because they started playing StarCraft 2. Their StarCraft 2 origins are intertwined.
That's very true. TSL Terrans were known for being quite aggressive. Polt was the one that kind of did more than aLive so far, and back in the day as well.
Well, when Polt won, if I remember right, back at Golem, I mean, he won a lot with just a lot of one-base play.
Yeah, he was super aggressive.
Yeah.
In fact, he's the guy who, I don't want to say invented, but is the first one to use the 1-1-1 on TV.
Yeah.
So
consistently.
Yeah. Always an aggressive Terran, but aLive is much the same. This is what happens when you're two good friends that live in the same house and practice together.
You're going to influence each other no matter what. The barracks explosion just now finishing up here for Polt, as he's going to have 3 more reactor barrackses. And it looks like aLive just wants to patrol around the map with these Banshees, see if there's anything else he can possibly clean up at this point in time. And this is something good. Just push the your Terran opponent off the watchtowers, keep him in the dark.
Also, aLive taking his third base right now. Polt taking his at almost exactly the same time, maybe just a few seconds quicker. Polt with a little bit of a supply lead as well, but that's not the biggest deal right now because aLive has committed more to tech a little bit, so you expect to see that.
Okay, a few more snipes here on those SCVs. The Marines now chasing out that remaining Banshee, and you know these Banshees are not dying. This is a lot of scans that Polt has used throughout this game. I've actually lost count of how many scans he had that didn't pay off.
You know, some people have fruit fly Banshees that just die so quickly. You know, what 1-2 days after they get them. Some people have turtle Banshees.
Some people have bald eagle Banshees.
Yeah.
Now we have just
and that's Polt for
hits.
sure.
Yeah, that's Polt for sure.
Freedom fighter.
His Banshee is like one of those hawks with the blinder over its head.
Yes.
So, the third has now comfortably been taken for both parties. We'll see, though. Polt looks like he's going to be the first to move out here, which could cause a problem because of the location of that third base. You can really harass that if you get at the right angles and even come around from the other side if the siege tanks aren't in the right spot.
Well, it looks like this is where the game is going to pick up again, be a little bit more interesting. You know, the past few minutes we've been watching them kind of just do light harassments, take their bases, but now everyone's going to the center. You can see they're actually meeting right in the center of the map near these watchtowers.
But aLive does back down, giving Polt lower central control, I should say, getting right out of siege tank range as well. Now, we haven't seen before, when we get in these positions, occasional mass pickups here when they're in the middle and then boosting towards one of many different locations of the opposing player's base.
Yeah, you know, Frost might be a little bit better map for something like that, but we definitely could see something like that here as well with all these obstacles in the way.
Another scan here, seeing that he probably can't engage those watchtowers. And a stim to get that Banshee nicely done there by Polt. Polt just really in control here.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job, but the supply is about the same, so this can still absolutely go either way. And if we look at the last game, aLive almost fought back when he was behind at the beginning, whereas here, he's been about even.
All right, is he going to really try to come down from this angle? Okay, I was going to say, I think that would be a really bad idea. You can see aLive is kind of testing the waters, I guess you could say here.
He's got to be careful. If you stim and charge into a row of siege tanks one time and it doesn't work out, that can be game over for you.
Absolutely, it can be. All right, and he's going to go. I think this is exactly what we were talking about early on in this map. You can go around. I don't know if there's much to defend with at the third base here for aLive.
Well, it looks like, you know what, he's trying to skirt around. I love this idea by Polt to try to act like his army's going in one direction and then send a little squad off in another.
It's super smart.
Yeah, but with that sensor tower there, it's hard to say. Look, he's skirting around it as best he can. Those little white triangles are the edge of where the sensor tower sees, and here we go. He's going to have to stim.
He stims up and comes in now, driving back a lot of these Marines, and he could probably even get this tank up here.
Well, more Marines are coming down, and yeah, he does get it, but he's going to have to get out of here.
That did at least force aLive's bigger army in the middle of the map to turn around.
And that'll give some more central map control to Polt once again. And let's not forget, that was some amount of damage. It was better for Polt than aLive, that little attack.
Well, Polt still with this control here at the bottom. aLive does have control of the top now. And it looks like now Polt's going to relocate here. They could end up bumping right into each other here in the center left. A scan there tells him maybe not the best time to try to run in. Another scan over here from his opponent here, Polt. Polt now seeing where the army is moving. Oh, a nice catch. Oh, wow. aLive manages to escape in one piece.
It's a good move, though, by Polt to catch that just so quickly. He's really on top of the minimap right now.
Yeah.
Continuing to scan a lot. You know, when you start getting this many bases and you're maxed out, you may as well spend more scans because one good engagement's better than a mule.
He did a pickup over there, which could be quite bad because there might not be enough to actually hold this. He scans, and now aLive is starting to back up. He's starting to give up most of his presence here on the map.
Now, one thing we need to point out is that Polt got a second factory a lot quicker, so he's actually up pretty high in the siege tank count. At the moment, it's 7-14 with Polt leading. Whereas there's a lot more Marines for aLive with 96-64. So, you know, this is... Polt basically needs to be careful not to get outmaneuvered because the Marines are going to move around the map a lot quicker.
A lot, yeah. aLive is now in here and can do a lot of damage. Polt looks like he's ready to sink his teeth into aLive's third base, but isn't going to go just yet. Maybe do a pickup here with these medevacs. We'll have to see. Now, aLive regroups. Looks like he's interested in maybe doing a surround if Polt does try to initiate. That triggers Polt to maybe not initiate at all.
Well, the siege tanks sieging up. Polt losing quite a few there. aLive really not taking much damage yet. Both players getting their 3-3 upgrades at almost the same time. That +3 attack a little bit quicker for Polt, though.
And we do see that hold that thought, the planetary here cannot be used right now because those Marines on the high ground. This is always one of the best ways to take on somebody who's got a planetary there with a small amount of Marines. Just put the army behind there, make the other player deal with it. Scanning now coming in here. He could get a snipe up on that command center there, and he does. Nicely done there by aLive. Is aLive going to win this one?
I don't know yet. You know, it's a hard one to say, but I feel like Polt's doing just enough damage on the other side as well. He's kind of delaying a little bit of mining over here.
Oh, wow. And with these command centers being made here, the potential for them to be picked off, that is just huge. Now he backs up, goes onto the high ground.
You know, as you get into the late game, especially on such a big map, you want as many command centers as possible. Mule's going to be a lot more useful than SCVs.
These Marines still here doing damage somehow.
And this is kind of crazy back and forth at the moment.
You know, for as long as these games go on, these guys never manage to get a ton of bases.
Yeah. Well, they're both just so good at being aggressive against each other, at shutting those bases down.
And now Polt is chasing aLive now into the middle of the map. Now, there's a lot of siege tanks here. A lot of this will depend on the positioning of aLive siege tanks. Okay, he definitely has enough. As long as he sieges up right, Polt probably won't break that. By the way, Polt now reclaiming control of that bottom base where the planetary is. Oh, can he actually get the refinery from there?
You know what? I don't think quite.
No, not quite.
Yeah, just barely not. Might just hit, yeah, just hitting some of these SCVs, so that's pretty powerful. Oh, wait, did he actually hit that?
I think he barely can with the vision of the medevac.
Yeah,
but he's going for SCVs because the tank prioritizes that more.
Yeah, well, this is a really great sieged up spot here for Polt. already getting 6 kills there. In fact, picking off some siege tanks as well. Very annoying to deal with. One of the most annoying things in Terran versus Terran.
Nice.
It really gives an advantage.
Gutting down a medevac back there. And yeah, he actually can hit that refinery. Well, that's annoying because now this base, which neither player can afford to lose their third, they're not going to get to use it anymore.
Yeah. Well, Polt continues to just play fantastically, but aLive is adding a couple starports, so we could see a switch into Sky Terran coming out of him. In the meantime, Polt is adding more command centers. He's just going basically mass command centers at the moment.
Well, you know, he almost can. You can see aLive was trying to do the same thing, get those mass command centers. He had one that was shot down immediately. But from there, they can just start expanding everywhere and probably win in a positional fight, even if they have to sack a few. Okay, a nice drop there from aLive. These siege tanks are very important. He can't afford to lose any of them.
Well, he does lose a couple of them, but in the meantime, a big army coming around.
He's not in position to deal with this. A big attack though for here from aLive, trying to wipe out the rest of this army. Polt not there, not even stimming, not even having the medevacs present.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? He's focusing really heavily over on killing off this base, but losing a big chunk of his army is not good ever.
All right, he's got to back up here now and try to lead this army into the siege tanks. Meanwhile, another attack up here from Polt is going to take out the siege tank. Man, he just barely wasn't able to reclaim that. Polt is going to have to remass up his entire army. He's got 19 Marines making right now. And by the way, Polt still does have map control. Polt's he's just so good at just controlling his opponent. It's really impressive.
Well, aLive, though, has a bigger army altogether and will get up here, erase all these siege tanks. And you know what? Let me take a look real quick. Okay, we have 13 medevacs to 8 with Polt in lead, but 4 siege tanks to 14 with aLive in the lead. And the siege tank lead is oftentimes the most important thing in TVT.
That absolutely is. aLive now going to go into the middle now. aLive has to do some damage here. He has to do what Polt did in game number 1, okay?
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to. He's got that same type of army that Polt had there.
Yeah, with all that raw siege tank power. You know?
A lot of Marines too. He is leading in Marines by about 20, but the closer he gets to Polt's base, the less that's going to matter because of rally distances.
Another command center bites the dust here, but that's not stopping aLive from just pouring down here to where many of these additional command centers are. He's probably going to lift these up, a lot of them. Siege tanks sieging up, but where are the Marines?
Well, the Marines, I don't know. Here they are from behind.
The Marines slept in.
Oh, the siege tanks do siege for aLive, and this gives him a huge advantage. No way to attack into that. And after Polt lost even more siege tanks, this is a huge advantage for aLive. He continues to push everywhere.
Polt, though, actually getting hit now at that bottom base, too. This command center just barely not destroyed.
Oh, he lost a lot of Marines there as well. And suddenly, look at this, Tasteless. Polt in a big supply lead, even though aLive was really killing him there for a minute.
I don't know if aLive is effective enough with these multi-pronged attacks, you know? He does seem to hemorrhage a lot of units, like that battle back there. He didn't need to do that. He could have sent those Marines onto the high ground and just parked them there. Instead, he tried to take out that planetary.
He's trying to kill too many at once. He even right-clicked on that floating away command center and lost his whole Marine force for that as well.
With Polt having this lead now, and aLive not having the expansions all over the map. Look at this, one expansion in the upper left, another in the bottom right. Are you kidding me?
Now, Polt is, it doesn't even matter what happens to Polt. You know, if he's ahead, if he's behind, he plays so well. And aLive, even though he was ahead there, kind of threw away that lead.
All right, the siege tanks are going to come up here now. I mean, this is nice to have these siege tanks here, but he really should have those with the rest of his army because, frankly, Polt is so scary. He might be able to just tear right into aLive.
You know, Polt could send over one medevac and clean those up for sure.
Exactly.
But I guess, you know, he wants Polt to start making some mistakes, things I'm not sure that he's going to. In fact, he brings over a couple medevacs with some Marines in it, cleans up these siege tanks, resecures that base, and continues to push forward with much higher supply.
Scanning over here, it looks like Polt may try to engage now. And aLive is very low. In fact, I wonder at his fourth base how many minerals he actually has left there. Okay, that's a decent amount, but that's not going to last forever when that's one of the only places you can land your mules, you know? Here we go! Oh, Polt now backing up again.
Yeah, you know, so many times you see people run forward with their Marines and the tanks siege too quickly, and they're like, no, I'm out of
Nope,
here.
not so much, yeah.
Not going to do that. Smart move by Polt to back up, but now he's going to try to maneuver around and see if he can find another angle to attack him at.
He might be able to drop into the main here.
Oh, wow, that would be huge. I think he does have a good missile turret line, though, in his main base. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that would never work.
that would be bad.
Scanning now. Polt's army is not there to defend Polt's, the heart of Polt's base. It's just the planetary, a few Marines, and everything else. But he does come in here and take out this command center, and he will not stop here. He's going to keep pushing forward. aLive with a contain, that's nice, but Polt now going towards the heart.
Well, aLive right now, yeah, he's maxed out, but he has no bank. He's barely mining. And, well, he's trying to break through Polt right now, but Polt is absolutely breaking through aLive at the same time.
Yeah, Polt is now tearing aLive apart, and with Polt being so far spread out, and you can see clearly aLive not close to maxed out like Polt is. I really don't know if aLive rather can win this game.
Yeah, this is looking like aLive is just about dead. Polt just having that extra oomph, man, that swagger in his step.
Yeah, man, that YOLO swagger, dude.
Yeah, he's doing fantastically. Look at this. He's everywhere. And with those bases in the side and everything, that gives him an even bigger advantage. GG.
Polt
Wow.
now up 2 games.
That has to be frustrating for aLive.
Absolutely.
aLive, again, played quite well, but I feel like what really went wrong there, Tasteless, correct me if you think I'm wrong.
Please.
When he was attacking and he was way ahead, and then he lost all those Marines at the planetary, and then all those Marines trying to target down a floating away command center, I feel like that was a giant mistake.
Yeah, well, that's where he tried to just close it out. If he had gotten rid of the command center, if he had gotten rid of all those things he wanted to target down, if he had gotten in and gotten out, mind you, he'd be fine. But he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, I feel like that's where it really went back into Polt's favor, and Polt knew exactly what to do from there.
Well, game number 3 goes to Belshir Vestige. Artosis, is aLive going to turn around?
You know what? Like, I could definitely see aLive winning this map. I said it when we were talking about the map order that I felt like this map might favor aLive a little bit, but the way Polt's playing, even when he gets behind, man, he keeps cool, he keeps calm, and makes the right choices over and over again. I think that Polt's going to be able to take it.
Polt looks so scary. It's funny because even when he's losing everything, he seems to know exactly what to do. He's so comfortable in this play style. It goes to show you why he's had so much success in this past year for WCS.
Yeah, he's great, man. He's going to have success for many years to come, I think. He's just such a talented gamer.
Well, our game is now loading up. Either aLive starts to come back, or Polt is going to 3-0 this.
We will see, Tasteless.
We will see, Artie McTosis. Over here in the bottom right, up 2 games, he is Polt. His opponent over here in the upper left, can he come back and win the next 3? He is aLive.
All right, well, you know what? This is a smaller map. This is a map where, while yes, you can outmaneuver your opponent, it could be a little bit harder. Could be a little bit harder for Polt to really just run around everywhere. Just the architecture of it overall doesn't really support what we've seen in the last 2 games.
Yeah,
not as much, at least.
Not as much. I feel bad for aLive. It's funny because, look, these are the 16 best players in the world, right?
Yeah.
But you can clearly see that there's a skill gap here that's huge between Polt compared to aLive.
Well, he's winning under any circumstance. But at the same time, I think that aLive is playing quite well. And I think that, if 1 or 2 things changed in these games, he could have perhaps taken them.
I think
not
so.
wasting those Marines, or perhaps having a better start in game
what it is?
number 1.
It's not even the results that are shocking to me. It's the fact that Polt was so confident, and then to hear that aLive's like, yep, I'm not as good as Polt, and everybody thinks that, and it's true. And then he's losing 0-2. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you?
Not us.
That's right, Tasteless. Not us.
Not us, man.
Well, looks like these guys
Scouting,
going for the
SCV.
same builds this time.
Yep, scouting SCV here for aLive. That's the only difference.
And that's actually going to help him a lot when you're doing the same
Sure.
build, but you have that little bit of extra scouting information. You can adjust your build a bit more.
All right, aLive's now going to send that SCV up in here. Can't really blame the guy. Polt, I think at this point in time, probably feeling invincible.
He could be. You know, once his scout gets up there, if he can get in and figure out what's going on, he's going to feel even better. Because normally in a mirror matchup, if two players do the same build, the better player most oftentimes wins. Because, you know, you're using the same exact stuff.
It's absolutely true.
And I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, that might not have sounded quite right. Because, like, well, yeah, normally the better player does win no matter what. But you know, it's a lot harder for a worse player to use the same set of units to end up winning, especially when the player you're playing against, Polt, is a god of micro.
It's very true. And a god of just pure engagement, you know? I mean, he never picks a fight he can't win. In fact, Polt may be this dark horse in this entire tournament, you know?
I think he is one of the dark horses. I feel like, you know, he's so good, and he's been killing it in WCS America, which is extremely hard. It's full of past WCS or GSL champions and stuff.
Yeah,
you know, it's
sure.
just really great players over there. But I feel like people aren't giving him maybe quite enough credit. Because you look at him and then you look at like Sulky Deer and you're like, I'm so sorry, not quite full. Not quite, right?
Yeah, it's
But
true.
the guy knows how to play. He's been to like Infinity tournaments. He's good in front of a crowd. He's very confident in himself.
You know, he was confident even when we saw him win at Gulm.
Yeah.
He was up there on the stage with a smile on his face, gave a great speech, completely confident. And, you know, we were not really expecting him to do that well.
No, we didn't think he was going to win that season.
He's got a Warcraft 3 background, correct?
Yeah, but he wasn't even professional at that.
No,
he
he
was
was
kind
just
of
like
played it.
competitive, yeah.
Yeah, just, you
He
know.
was like a high-ranking Warcraft 3 guy.
Yeah. And you know what? There's one other thing, Tasis, I do want to bring up that's kind of interesting and not said enough. Polt being the one player that's not 100% full-time as a pro gamer because he has college as well, that actually takes so much pressure off you because you have something else going on in your life.
That is a really good point, Artosis.
Every other player here, when they lose, are going to feel like, oh my god, this is the only thing I do I didn't win. Whereas Polt, like, even if he loses, he's like, all right, I have a test next Thursday. I have to study for that, you know?
Well, you know, if Polt gets super deep in this tournament, let's say he gets Final Four,
Yeah.
I mean, that should send a message to everybody that, you know what, if you, let's say you're a full-time student, you can still be one of the best StarCraft 2 players in the world, you know?
Yeah.
And look at the placement of that.
Yeah, he's going to try to lure Marines or Vikings or anything over to that Widow Mine so that his Banshee can be protected more. Now here we go, Tasos. Banshee's in both bases. And who's going to have the better multitasking here?
That is the big question. Right now, aLive bringing his Banshee out. He will eventually want to have Polt come down and engage. Oh my god, he's going to be careful! Now, is he going to be able to push him or pull those Marines towards that Widow Mine?
So far, pretty close on these kills.
Yeah, pretty neck and neck. aLive's Banshee a little bit, or Polt's Banshee rather, a little bit lower on HP.
And let's not forget, we do have a Widow Mine down near Polt's base, so he's going to have to look out for that. Oh,
wow.
Really nice catch there by Polt. Really good auto turret usage.
Yeah. Now here comes a very low HP Banshee. Looks like he wants to try to get some SCVs. How many can he get? Taking 2 out now as Polt slowly but surely takes a lead here.
Yeah,
Not
tiny
a
lead.
huge one,
Yeah,
but, you know, enough of one.
it exists, and that's important.
So you're going to catch this Banshee over here? Polt's Banshee in the center left? Looks like he just did, yep.
Okay. All right, so let's take a look at where these guys are at right now. Polt, he's already got his second command center done, whereas the second command center a little bit later for aLive, but 27 SCVs each. So that economic lead is going to go to Polt just slightly, but aLive has a bigger army right now. Ooh, looks like those Marines took a lot of damage from the Widow Mine.
Okay. Here is that expansion for Polt. Ouch, man. Losing the tank.
That's rough. Polt
I
is
don't
so good
know
with these
how much
Banshees.
longer aLive is going to be in this tournament, dude. This is pretty
Well,
brutal.
You know, when you're trying to go down and attack, especially after you got such a nice hit off on the Marines to soften them up to allow you the possibility to attack. Oh, well, this is a really nice move, throwing out a couple of auto turrets.
Well, you know, it's something. I mean, he's not
Yeah.
going to get a ton of SCV kills, but it's something. I think he wants to see if the rest of the army will turn around to that attack. And they don't. Some nice siege tank shots there as that Marine army runs away.
Well, it takes quite a few hits as well. I feel like I'm still looking at this feeling like Polt's winning, but aLive is keeping in it at least. You know, I think it's a slight advantage. aLive has killed a little bit more workers, but I think that's fine right now. He's stopped everything.
Okay, the Banshee now taking out another thing that's good for aLive, something going on his direction. Now, there are blue dots all over this map. aLive has units positioned everywhere, I think in the hopes that he's going to catch a Banshee, a medevac, anything.
Well, you know, that's just fantastic scouting. You know that Polt is such an active player. That probably wouldn't surprise you that he
This is
moves
a soft
out.
surround we have.
Yeah, soft surround.
Soft surround.
It's like an airplane pillow, basically.
Yeah, it is. It's like an airplane pillow outside the guy's base. 3 Vikings are going to come in here and land.
Oh, this is such a cool move from aLive. I am loving it.
Right when Polt is pushing out. Now, Polt has been known to ignore stuff like this and just keep pushing forward, and that is exactly what he's going to do right here. Now, the Vikings are good, but they don't deal damage that quickly. So, yeah, they'll get the tech lab and then force the restart on the combat shields upgrade. But Polt is still going to come in here. And that animation takes forever for that Viking to get up. So
it's true. And in fact, all 3 Vikings do end up dying.
Oh, so sick.
Good usage of Seeker Missile.
Oh, nicely done. Now pushing up here. Can aLive hold his position now? Gonna get the Raven. Backing up though. Not gonna take any additional damage there. How much energy on that Raven now?
This Raven is basically empty.
Okay.
Yeah, so here we go. The SCV is actually being pulled off. But, you know what? Those SCVs, he's going to lose quite a few.
He's
but it looks like
controlled
he
the
will
Marines
get back.
too well. He's controlled the Marines way too well here. And that means he's GG Polt.
Oh, my God.
With a very convincing victory there. 3-0. I got to say, though, aLive played really well. But Polt just, you know, the next level.
Polt played fantastically, showed us why he is the 2-time WCS America champion. aLive played quite well. But I think, as you said, Tace, a little bit of a mismatch. Polt is just top of the world. You know, he's one of the very, very best. And aLive, while he's top 16, there can be a big gap between 16th and 1st.
It's incredible the depth that you see in StarCraft 2 to have 2 guys both in the top 16, but that much of a difference. Really awesome stuff.
Yeah. So, was a very fun match, a very quick one for a TVT, right?
Well, I mean, it was 3-0. It was action-packed, though. I really enjoyed it. It was a real treat. Yeah, I guess we're not having an interview or anything back here since we're not on the main stage.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, guys. We got a lot more action for you here at the WCS Global Finals. We're Tastosis. Expect to see more of us in games to come.